And then, am I recording? Okay, so now we're going to be talking about domain and range of the quadratic function. Now here I have the table, and remember the quadratic function is f of x equals x squared. Now a lot of you were like, what is this f of x? This is a function of x. It's the same as putting y equals x squared. Okay, so this is still a y. These are my x values, these are my y values. So when we plotted them, when we plotted mom, this is what she looks like. Right? We have arrows at the top. Now, this is mom. She has a vertex. It's at a minimum right here. At 0.00 is her vertex. She has a minimum. She's positive. She's happy. And her axis of symmetry is right here, the y-axis, which cuts her in half, right? Now, I know my picture doesn't look that great. I'm sorry. So now, we're going to be talking about domain and range. Now, domain. What is domain? Domain is our x values, right? Is our x values. So we're going to start off with the domain. Now remember, when we're starting off with the domain, this is our domain right here. Our x-axis. So we're going to write x in the middle. Now if you remember when we were doing linear functions, we had something on the right and we had something on the left, and we filled it in. So we come in from the left. We read our book from left to right. And you guys can use that line. Remember? We drew a line like this. And you moved it over, and as soon as it hit, that was going to be our left furthest number. But what do we have here, guys? This is an arrow. What does an arrow mean? Remember, an arrow means infinity. We're on the negative side of the axis, so it's a negative infinity. Now, when we come in from the right, we're also hitting what? An arrow. But we're on the positive side, so that's a positive infinity. Now, do you remember what goes here in these two little blanks? Those are inequality signs. Remember, they both have to face the same way. Now, here, do we include infinity? Can you ever include infinity? Does infinity ever end? No. So we don't put the line over it or underneath it. So let me erase this so you don't get confused. Now, so x is between negative infinity and positive infinity. That's our domain. It covers all these numbers on the x-axis. So instead of writing it like this, we write the domain as, how do we write the domain? As all, now this R right here means all real numbers, not fake numbers. All real numbers. And trust me, there are fake numbers and unreal numbers that you'll get into later on. But for right now, it's all real numbers, right? All the negative numbers, all the positive numbers. We good? So now, we're going to talk about the range. The range comes from the bottom to the top, right? Okay, so from the range, we always start from the bottom. Now the same thing, we have y in the middle, so we're going to write y in the middle. The furthest bottom number is down here, the highest number is up here, right? So when we come up, what number do we hit first? We hit 0, right? Now, when we're coming in from the top, what do we hit? We hit these arrows. What does arrow mean? Infinity, and we're on the positive side of the graph, so it's a positive infinity. So y is between 0 and infinity. Now let's fill in our signs. So, what sign is here? Is it a solid line? It is a solid line, right? So we're going to include the 0. So now I'm going to rewrite this. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this, and I'm going to rewrite it over here for the range. Okay, and that's our y-axis. So now I have the y is going to be in between 0. Remember, the lowest number always goes to the left. The highest number always goes to the right. Now we know infinity. We're not going to include infinity, so it's just an arrow without the line underneath. But we are going to include 0. Okay? So what does this mean right here? Who remembers what we can do now with this infinity? Do we need this? No, we don't need it. We erase it. Now, what do we do with this? We flip it. This is not in proper mathematical order, so all we do is flip it. Now, isn't this true? Why is all values greater than 0? Boom. Done. Domain and range. Now, we're going to talk about solutions. Solutions to a quadratic equation when you're looking at it on the graph. So let's draw Mom again. I have Mom, and of course it's not direct, okay? Give me a break. It's not exact. There's Mom. So Mom is going to have one solution, but why? I'm going to explain that. There are. Quadratics have 3 different types of solutions. 3. Number 1, it's either going to have no solution. It's either going to have one solution, or it's either going to have 2 solutions. The most a quadratic formula can have is 2 solutions. Why? Think about it. It's y equals x squared. You see this little 2 up here? That also tells us that's the maximum amount of solutions that we can have. Okay, and when you get to cubic functions, the 3 will mean you can have 3 at the most. All right, so now, let me draw some different graphs here. Oh, I already used purple. Okay, so now let's talk about these. Let's look over here. What's going on with this graph? It's floating up here, right? You see it's floating up here in the middle of nowhere. It's not even coming close to our x-axis. Then we have Mom here. She's sitting her little touche right here on the x-axis at one point. Then we have this graph right here who's going below the x-axis. And how many times is it crossing over the x-axis? Well, it's 2. I have a 1 here, and I have 1 there. Mom, her little touche is touching the x-axis here. This one, nothing, no. So, guess what? This right here means no solution. No solution right here does not touch the graph. No touch. Okay? Now, Mom, she has one solution. She touched once. 1 touch on the graph, right? Then we have this one right here. So this is 2 touch. And this is not proper English, okay? 2 touch on the graph. Now, no solution. 1 solution. 2 solutions. Now, we're going to add some more vocabulary. Solutions. You're going to see this differently. They're going to ask you, how many solutions are on the graph? So you're going to hear it this many times. Watch, you're going to hear solutions. Then you're going to hear a word that's called, what are the zeros of the function? And what are the roots of the function? And what are the x-intercepts of the function? Okay? Guess what? All of these are the same. The solutions mean the same thing. The zeros mean the same thing. The roots mean the same thing. And the x-intercepts mean the same thing, because that's actually where they're crossing the x-intercept. The root, look, if the x-axis was the ground, right? And this was underground, this was all dirt. The roots of the flower. It's where the flower starts to grow. The root of the flower. Little baby flower right there. See? We good? Roots, zeros, solutions, x-intercepts. You'll need to remember this for Monday. Actually, you'll need to remember this the rest of your lives. Have a great weekend.